Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to give people about another minute to get started, and then we'll jump into our tasting today. But if you have bottles of wine open or ready, get those set up, and then we'll get into today's tasting. We're going to start with Chardonnay, if that's what you want to get ready first. Some quick intros so everyone knows who's on the phone. My name's Olivia. I'm the brand manager for Charles Woodson's Intercept Wines, and I'm going to be interviewing Amanda today, the winemaker for Intercept. Amanda has been making Intercept wines since 2016, and the brand launched in 2019. So she's got a whole lot of experience. Amanda's coming from the winery today. Anything you want to say to the viewers, Amanda?
Hi, everybody. We're going to taste some great wines today.
Some great wines, your babies. Amanda, before we get going today, obviously you make Intercept wines in partnership with Pro Football Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, and you guys have been collaborating for years now on kind of the wine styles. Could you give everyone a little bit of context on, how you two kind of came to the different wine styles and the different varietals for Intercept?
Yeah, so as we started, Charles came out, we tasted a number of wines that we were already making and some styles that we thought kind of would fit what he had kind of described that he was interested in. And at that tasting, we were able to really drill down. He likes fruit-forward wines. He likes full-bodied, more structure. And so that's how we kind of came to like the stylistic goal. And then we selected varieties that we thought people would enjoy and recognize. So Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cabernet, and then a red blend, which kind of gave us this creative opportunity to showcase varieties maybe you haven't heard of, and introduce you to something a little bit more fun and also still really big and structured.
We have a guest who wanted to make a quick appearance, so I'm going to add him in. Charles, how are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Hey, hold on. Let me try to get my my earphones together. Hold on one second.
All right, sounds good. Joining from the course. We love that dedication.
Yeah, man. I just got off a round, but I had to get on the call and make sure that I'm on here with my girl Amanda. I know she has center stage to let you guys know about Intercept, but just to let you know, I played a great round. I won like $17, so it was a good $17. So it was a good day for me. But yeah, so good to be here, and I'm gonna listen in, and you guys let me know whenever I need to chime in. I'll chime in.
Yeah, sounds good. Do you want to just, before we get in the tasting, do you want to give everyone just really quick context on kind of your how you got into wine and ended up partnering with Amanda to make Intercept?
Yeah, so my I would say my love affair with wine goes back many years ago, back to the late 90s. Or some of you who know, maybe most of you know, of course, I was drafted out of the University of Michigan to the Oakland Raiders. I was the fourth pick, and I was a young rookie going into training camp, not knowing what to expect. And the one thing I didn't expect is that I would be going to a place that would end up kind of shaping my future a little bit, and that's Napa Valley. The training camp for the Oakland Raiders was held in Napa Valley, and we all would know what Napa Valley represents, but I didn't know at the time. So it was something for me that kind of happened organically for sure. Being there, being around all of these great restaurants, being around the vineyards, being around great wine, watching people and how they interacted with wine. And, it's one of those things where either it catches your attention or it doesn't. And it caught my attention. And I began to drink wine just as a result of being in Napa Valley. And from there, that piqued my interest into, creating my own label, 24 by Charles Woodson at the time, making a single barrel of Merlot early, I think 2001. And then 2005, I came out with the cab coming out of Calistoga. And so I had done that for multiple years. And then that kind of led me on a path to, I knew I needed to do something a little different because, fans of mine and people who drink wine, who supported 24, who loved it, said, hey, it's a great wine, but we would love if you had something that was, of course, same quality, but more affordable. And that led me to Jeff O'Neill Vintners, and ultimately Intercept. And so, that's kind of, a brief timeline of how I got into it. But it was one of those things that just kind of happened organically.
I love it. I love it. Well, Amanda, can you talk us through just really quickly the 4 wines that we're going to be tasting today and kind of why we're tasting them in the order that we are?
Yeah, so we're going to taste a white first. That's our Chardonnay. And then we're going to taste the reds in order. So Pinot Noir, then Cabernet, then the red blend. It's kind of in order of structure. So fuller bodied, if it's a little bit heavier, that's when we kind of stepwise go forward in our tasting.
Perfect. Well, let's start with Chardonnay then. Can you kind of talk us through what we're going to be tasting and smelling with this wine?
Yeah. So on the nose, you get kind of a biscuit or cream, and that's from its barrel fermentation and how we make the wine. So we have a selection of new barrels and also barrels that have already had wine in them. And that's going to give it the creamy structure. So we're targeting fruit forwardness, and that's how we achieve it with a white wine. So creamy, some lemon, some pastry, some peaches, maybe some apricots. And then full acidity.
Charles, I know that you really like this Chardonnay because it's kind of very versatile for you. I know you drink it a lot while you're golfing. Is there anything specific about Intercept Chardonnay that was special for you?
Yeah, I think just a very clean, crisp, feel when you drink, our Intercept Chard. The great thing about, all of the varietals, I was able to sit down with Amanda and, really kind of talk with her about, what I like and don't like about certain varietals. And certainly for me with Chardonnay, I'm not a big fan of over oaked Chardonnay. So that was very important that, it had a really, clean, crisp taste, very fruit forward, like she mentioned. Some of those tropical fruits, great acidity, in the wine, so that, all of the wines are kind of, medium body to full body. And I think the Chardonnay is just the same. And so it makes it for, great, food wines in terms of, what you would pair, the Chardonnay with. For me, I think she hit all of the marks in terms of what I like in my wine, and the Chardonnay is no different, from that. So very well balanced, I would say, is the key to all of our wines. And that had to be, like I said, she hit the mark. So that was very important for me, for all of those things to, be well represented in the wine. So great job for, by Amanda. She's a star.
Amanda, the Chardonnay and the Pinot are both from Monterey. Can you talk a little bit about why you chose that region for these 2 wines?
Yeah, so Monterey is cooler than where we're based in Paso. And talking about acidity and acid balance, if it's a little bit cooler, you can kind of retain more of that acidity in the grapes. And that's the reasoning for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. They're typically considered cooler climate grapes, and we're able to make a more balanced wine, making them in Monterey.
Awesome. Should we move on to Pinot? Pour it out. Amanda, is there anything about this wine in particular that people would be interested to learn? Any fun facts about the Pinot?
This is one of the first coastal Pinots I've ever made. So our first vintage was kind of it was a learning opportunity for me. I normally am making cab. I really enjoy the process. Pinot Noir can be more challenging grape to work with, and so the fact we were able to achieve the fuller body, the big fruit, in a grape that can be a little bit lighter in style, I think was a big achievement for us.
And what are we going to be tasting in this one?
A lot of cherries, strawberries, maybe some cranberries, baking spice, cloves. It'll be, so this is our lightest of the range of reds, but it'll have kind of a dusty tannin structure.
And Charles, on the Pinot Noir, this was the most requested varietal by your fans, right?
Yeah, 100%. As I mentioned before, you know, a lot of people would approach me about, coming out with more affordable wine, but more importantly, they would say, hey, when are you going to come out with a Pinot? Me, I'm a big cab drinker, so a lot of times when I'm out, that's what I drink. I would drink Cabernet, and through this process, you really find out how much people really enjoy, how much people really love a great Pinot Noir. Again, sitting down with Amanda and us kind of going over, what we feel like our portfolio or what varietals we want in our portfolio, I first expressed that Pinot has to be one of them. Because that's what people ask for the most, and I think I know I'm very proud of, and I hope Amanda is too. But right out of the gate, 92 points from Wine Enthusiasts on our Pinot Noir, right out of the gate, our first vintage. So that made myself happy, and hopefully all of the fans who requested that I come out with the Pinot, we hit all the marks. Just on a personal note, for me, I was never really a big Pinot drinker. Like I said, I was really heavy into cab, so I like a little bit bigger, bolder, type of wines. And so for Pinots for me are, for the most part, a little too light for me. So I needed something with body. And as Amanda mentioned, the Pinot Noir grape is a very thin-skinned grape, so it's it can be hard to maintain. It doesn't have the the tannin in the skin that some of the the Cabernet grapes or other grapes have. So it can be hard to achieve what you really want to achieve, and this is 100% Pinot. So again, I can't say enough about the marks that I feel like Amanda hit for me personally. Being able to have something that's a little more fuller bodied for me in a Pinot, and so I mean home run, So I love our Pinot. Great with I mention this all the time. Great with the ribeye. If you want to have a great Pinot with a juicy ribeye, this is the one for you. So again, great job by Amanda by hitting all of the marks and making sure that I had something that I could truly when I'm out and about and I'm talking about Intercept wine, I'm really enthusiastic about each and every varietal that I'm talking about, because she hit every aspect of what I wanted, out of Intercept wine.
I love it. I love that this one is for the people, really, for the fans.
For sure.
Well, next, cab is king. Let's pivot to cab, shall we? Amanda, you want to kind of talk us through the cabs from Paso, not Monterey? You want to kind of explain what's unique about Paso Robles, California?
So Paso Robles has a really large temperature swing. So it's warm, but it'll still be really cool in the evening. This allows us to grow grapes for a long season, which really helps them have maturity and complexity. and also we can make big wines because we're able to hold them out on the vine longer. This wine comes from a number of regions in Paso that we're able to put together an interesting blend that has a little bit of blenders, a little bit of Merlot, a little Petit Verdot, but really respects like the cab style, California cab style, where it's big, structured, fruity. We age our reds in French and Eastern European oak, and that adds to some of the spice notes you get in this wine. So a lot of blackberry and like dark raspberry, but also this kind of clove and Christmas spice, baking spice.
I'm on mute. Charles, what's your quote about cab? Cab is king.
Cab is king. You know, you can't go wrong with Cabernet. I think, you know, if you're if you're out and about, you're at a restaurant, you're at a bar or something, I think that if you're just trying out a wine for the first time, you know, I think, yeah, maybe you may start with a Pinot because, you know, a Cab may be a little bit too big and bold for you. But the one varietal that is I think indicative of the lion on the front on the label of the bottle, you know, Cab is that because it's strong. You know, like Amanda said, it's structured, it's bold, it's a resilient grape. So, you know, you're not, for the most part, you're not going to mess a Cab up unless you try to mess it up, right? So you know, Cabernet for me is a go-to always. And you know, this Cab, I think that what it offers is a very drinkable Cab, very approachable Cab. You know, we think about Cabernets a lot of times. You know, a lot of Cabs are, especially when they're 100% Cabernet, maybe they're aged in 100% new oak, then the tannins can be overwhelming, and that's when you hear people say, hey, you got to lay this down for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. This Cab has, you know, all of the characteristics of a big, bold Cab, but a little bit tempered. So it makes it more easy or more approachable as an everyday wine, something that you could drink on you know, by itself on a Monday night when maybe you're watching Jeopardy. I don't know what you guys watch on television. But also, if you need, again, if you need, you know, filet mignon or, you know, some type of smoked meat or something, then this Cab also goes with that too. So it's a very versatile wine, very easy drinking and approachable. And again, I think the important thing for me is well balanced. And some of those, you know, Amanda mentioned about the notes that you get, but a little bit of dark chocolate as well, you know, along with some of those berries. So just an outstanding Cab that goes with anything at any time.
Agreed. It's a fantastic wine. We've saved the biggest for last, the closer. Amanda, can you talk us through the red blend?
So red blend is predominantly Petite Syrah and Zinfandel. So Petite Syrah grows really well in Paso Robles. It can be really structured, so meaning it can have a lot of tannins and be something that you would have to age. We pair it with Zinfandel. Zinfandel is lighter, fruitier, and so we're kind of creating balance there. And this is a fun wine because we're able to look in the cellar every year and say, okay, like what is the biggest, darkest, what is worthy of the Intercept red blend, and what can we put in? So sometimes it'll be Mourvèdre, sometimes it'll be Petit Verdot, varieties that do really well in Paso and kind of just flesh out, and you have a lot of red fruit, black fruit, the spice notes, and just really big wine. And I think that's really fun, like burgers, barbecue. This is one that you could drink on its own on the couch. Like it's a really fun wine to take places as well.
Charles, we hear from consumers a lot that the red blend is kind of how they get into wine. Do you have any advice for people who are kind of just beginning their wine journey or kind of learning about what they do and don't like?
For me, my only advice to anyone who's, just starting out, kind of getting into wine, trying to figure out, where to start, really, for each individual, it's really about your own palate. So I think if I was given like a guide to starting out drinking wine, I think I would tell people, of course, start out with the Pinot, right? Try the Pinot because usually they're a little lighter. And then, maybe I would move to a red blend, because, depending on, the structure of that blend, you can get it, you can, be a little bit on the lighter side as well. And so, speaking of our red blend, I absolutely love it because for me, I didn't want a red blend that was, typically in red blends, there's a lot of, residual sugar. So it kind of, as you drink a glass or two, it kind of, leaves a certain type of, feel in your mouth that I'm not a big fan of. This one here is more, full-bodied red blend. Amanda talked about the tannins that you're able to get from some of those darker skinned grapes. You get some of that spice and the lighter notes from the Zinfandel, but all in all, it's a heavier, full-bodied red blend, and it's one that of our varietals that I really enjoy. If I don't pick up the Cabernet, then I'm probably going to pick up the red blend for the most part. But again, in terms of being an approachable wine and something that you can drink, on its own, or something that you can put with the different types of food that Amanda mentioned, then it just works. So I think that the varietals that you put together, the synergy that these different grapes have together, I think that, of course, what goes into play is the climate. And she talked about how it can be very hot in Paso, very cold. So, all of that goes into play is, in terms of when you pick the grape. You got to make sure sugar levels are correct, make sure they're right. The red blend is, so people ask me, hey, what's your favorite varietal of Intercept? All right, Cab is king, as I always mention, but the Intercept red blend is a home run. So I love the red blend, and it's just very, very well done. So
I love it. Well, for those listening here today, if you want to get Intercept wines, you can order them on our website, cwinterceptwines.com. We also have an area on the website where you can type in your zip code and find them at any retailers or restaurants next to you, which is extremely handy. But otherwise, please feel free to follow us on interceptwines.com, sign up for our email newsletter to stay up to date with the latest from Amanda and Charles. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. Cheers. I don't know if Amanda and Charles, you have any other sign-off thoughts for the listeners, but we appreciate everyone's time.
Yeah, I would just say right quick, I just wanted to really give a shout out to Amanda. For everyone listening, Intercept Wines has national distribution, and I'll take a little bit of credit, because of myself and who I am, but I can't take most of the credit. Most of the credit comes to what's in the bottle. I think the name on the front of the bottle says a lot. Of course, it's my name on the bottle, but in terms of what people are drinking, what people are enjoying every day, comes from the expertise of my winemaker, and that's Amanda Gorter. So I just want to, really give a big thanks to her for her due diligence, her ear, and listening to someone who is, I would call myself a layman in terms of winemaking, because she's the expert. But man, when you think about from coast to coast, and whether it's a wine retail store or a restaurant, it's because of Amanda and what she's done with Intercept. So thank you, Amanda. Thank you to everyone who's on the call today, and just lending us your ear, giving us a chance to be in front of you and tell you what we're doing. I appreciate it. Olivia, who is brand manager for Intercept Wine, she does an amazing job making sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be and doing what I'm supposed to do. So I appreciate Olivia. So yeah, so thank you guys. I appreciate your time, man, and just the support. It's all about the support, and I can't wait to see some of you all soon whenever I see you. So cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much. See you guys.